about this tasting that's about to start. We are going to try wines from the Pinot family. Everyone knows that the Pinot family mutates. There's lots and lots of mutations of what was essentially Pinot Noir at some stage. And in South Germany, these wines have been made and shown and drunk for centuries. And the Germans would actually end the name of the wine with Burgundy, which is indicating the origin that these are Pinot family grapes. And we're going to have a look at three of them today. First of all, we're going to start with the Weiss Burgunder, the white Pinot, Pinot Blanc. And my own feeling is that this grape doesn't find its way in front of people as much as it should. There would certainly be a feeling in northern Italy, for instance, that Pinot Bianco was a really interesting grape variety. It's, I think, particularly of interest if you're matching food. It's a very versatile food grape variety. It's perhaps not as aromatic as Pinot Gris, but it has great sort of ability to match all kinds of starters, white meats, fish and that type of thing. We're going to taste a brand new, young, unoaked version, 2012. And is that the wine you said that to me, Bob?
Yes.
Yeah. And the wine is produced by the Ravensburg estate, which are here on the stand. This is a winery that's been making wine for over nearly 800 years. So it's a really long-established winery, and they are in the Kraichgau sub-region of Baden. So we're in the very south of Germany. Here's the map of Germany. This is southern Germany. This is the limit of Germany. This is still cool climate, but it's a lot warmer than further north. The wines are riper, richer, they have more body to them. And so this wine, for instance, I think is 12%. 13% alcohol. Yeah, okay. So let you taste the wine. It's an important part, and you don't want to just listen to me talking. Actually have a look at this wine, see how it's showing. 2012, lovely vintage, down about 12% in certainly in this producer's terms from the 2011. So they made less wine. But I know that Stefan, the winemaker here from Ortenau, says this is the best vintage in the last 6 years, and it's particularly good vintage for Pinot Blanc. So this should give you the real character of this grape variety in a good top-class vintage, Baden vintage. Yes, but very much. Can you see what I was saying about the food matching interest of this wine? Really, really super. No oak to complicate things. Retail here in the UK, you're looking at something that's about sort of £11.99, something like that. £11.99. Single estate, really top estate. I think that's a good example of a good place to start with Pinot Blanc. We do have some Pinot Blanc, they're not in this tasting, but we do have some Pinot Blanc from single vineyards which have been in oak. My own view is that really this is more the right way of making Pinot Blanc for its freshness, for its liveliness. And that's just such a lovely finish on it. It's just, you know, not underripe, just the perfect amount. It's all about balanced wine. This is about the perfect example of Pinot Blanc, I think. Now, we're going to have a look at, secondly, at what is actually a red grape. But the taste tasting is white wines from the Pinot family. And we're going to move on now to the Pinot Meunier we made, which is, as you all know, one of the 3 champagne grapes. It has about 1/3 of all the plantations within 2012. So this grape variety is known in Germany. It's again been in South Germany for centuries, so it's a standard grape variety of theirs. They can make red wines from it, they can make rosé from it, and here we've got Blanc de Noir, so it's white wine from black grapes. And you will always notice when you look at the colour of a Blanc de Noir that you never really get the same colour as a white wine, because white wines are made with grapes which are green, so you get green hints in white wine, and you will never get a green hint in a Blanc de Noir. The French have a term called vin gris, and I think that's a better way of describing the colour of a Blanc de Noir. It's a slightly grey wine rather than typical white colour. This is from the cooperative in the village of Cleebronn in Württemberg, and they make rather a speciality of Pinot Meunier. In fact, what I might do, because there's only a small number of you here today, we perhaps taste the sparkling. I put some sparkling into the ice there. Could we open a fresh bottle, Barbara? I put some in the back. So I'll actually let you taste this, and then we'll actually taste a champagne method, Flaschengerung, bottle fermented version of the same grape variety, which isn't on your list, but it might be kind of quite interesting to try that as well. Yeah. About this, not particularly as you actually taste, but afterwards on the finish, when you're not perhaps thinking too much about the flavour. I sometimes get this feeling that I've just had a glass of champagne. And that must be the flavour of Pinot Meunier, because Pinot Meunier is very often there in the champagne mix, and then you finish with this slightly creamy characteristic. Thank you very much. So what we've got here is a Pinot Meunier Blanc de Noir 2011, but with bottle fermentation.
So the 2011?
This is 11 now, but
so
made in a sparkling wine. You tried the 12.
But is this the same base wine bottle fermented?
No, it would be the same base wine that's been champanized, but we've got the different vintage now. So this is 2011. Yeah, 9 months on the lees, just 9 months. They're not after autolytic, complicated, yeasty style, nutty flavours. They're after young fruit-led sparkling wine, but it is bottle fermented. And that colour is actually, because it was a warmer vintage in 2011, it's very difficult not to get some of the colour in from as you're pressing for your base wine. You get a little bit of the red grape colour creeping in. Did you want to join in on this? Okay. Very difficult to know whereabouts in the world you could get to try single varietal Pinot Meunier like this, either champanized or as a still wine. There are very few areas in the world that would grow this grape variety, and South Germany is one of them, really. So it's really very much a speciality of Württemberg to try white Blanc de Noir Pinot Meunier. Okay. You like that? Yeah. Yeah. And also the still one. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now our third wine that we're about to move on to. We are in Baden again, so we've got now going to Baden, and we have the Grauburgunder. That's the German name for this grape, and we are looking at a wine from the Ortenau sub-region. That's O-R-T-E-N-A-U, the Ortenau.
No, it's not.
And from a VDP estate, this is a quality, the real top quality, single small estates. The VDP logo on the screw cap. And this producer, the wine is from a single vineyard called Absberg. But what we're trying to do a little bit more here is show the relation with terroir. So this is the terroir from the area that we are showing the wine. This is Granite. So this is a Granite vineyard. I'm not suggesting for a moment that the vine has to find its way through Granite, but that's the main characteristic of the vineyard. There are obviously other soils there as well. And we're looking at a dry Trocken. This producer for the UK, we've done a lot of anglicising of the labels. So we're calling Spätburgunder Pinot Noir, we're calling Grauburgunder Pinot Gris, we're calling Weißburgunder Pinot Blanc. But with this label from the estate called von Franckenstein, we've stayed with the German market labels, we've stayed with the German market names. If German people who live in England want to buy the wines, they want to see a more regional, a more national label. And so we've kept that. We haven't changed these labels, we've kept them with the German market labels. Pinot Gris, my goodness, this is a few miles away from cheap Pinot Grigio in style, but it is the same grape variety. And what we've got here, I think we've got a really interesting nose. I mean, what I find here is a slightly smoky, cheesy, sort of slightly lactic and smoke going on there on the nose. It's only stainless steel, so there's no oak influence here. So the smokiness and that sort of cheese and smoke is the characteristic of the grape variety. This is the spiciness that you sometimes get from good quality Pinot Gris. And the wine is Trocken. It's say stainless steel. The retail price in the UK, we'd be looking at £13.50 here. Small, single, top-notch, really classy single estate, £13.50 a bottle. So I'll let you have a look at it, see what you think. You know, I was saying before about the Blanc de Noir not having green. Well, here, you know, you've got white grapes, you've got the green hints and reflections, very much more typical of what we're looking at white. The major message, and each time I've been doing a tutor tasting here during the course, is that German wines, German white wines, are not necessarily sweet. You know, you've got that wine in your glass now, and there's so much of a misconception that German wines are going to be sweet. And you know, it's an easy pair of blinkers to put on, not interested in that, it's sweet wine. This is classic Burgundy grapes. They've been there for centuries, since the monasteries brought them from the Burgundy region. And these wines are classic European style, absolutely. Now, I'm on very thin ice here. We've said Pinot family, and I know that Chardonnay isn't really the Pinot family, but it's the Burgunder family. And I thought I wanted to show you this wine. Chardonnay is not a long-established grape in Germany. South Germany has not grown it. There is a kind of element of the two nations facing each other. Germany has Riesling as its top-notch white grape variety. France has Chardonnay as its top-notch white grape variety. And there the twain shall meet, and we are German and we are French, and the French, apart from Alsace, would not want to see Riesling planted or trialled anywhere in France. Such a terrible shame. And equally, on the German side of the border, they've got Riesling. Why would they want a French grape variety like Chardonnay? They just, So that's been the situation. That's been the state of play. But here we've got Württemberg cooperative, Besigheim, and they're making what I think is a really interesting Chardonnay. This is the 2011. It's all been barrel fermented, so this is all barrel fermented. 50% of post-barrel fermentation goes into large Holzfass, which are large, 2,000, 3,000 food, large, not to give you just to mellow the wine a little bit more, and 50% goes back into stainless steel. We've got 2.1 grams residual sugar, so this is dry, and here we have maybe the first time in your life that you've tried a German barrel fermented Chardonnay, but why not? Why not? Lovely colour. I don't know if you share my opinion on this, but sometimes you can tell a wine if a wine's going to be any good by the way it looks. And it's about brightness, If you're doing WSET courses, there's a little box to tick that says bright, yeah. It's really, really important. That wine is in excellent health. It wants to be drunk. It's shining out at you from the glass. Have a look at sometimes, it won't always be the case. The wine will look dull, it will look flat. This wine is everything going for it in terms of appearance, absolutely everything. And you're obviously going to get over it because it's barrel fermented. The barrel dominating the nose, I think that's probably true that it does dominate the nose, but I think it's still a nice nose. And then on the palate, Chardonnay needs acidity as well. Chardonnay needs to be lively. It doesn't want to be flat and flabby. Here you've got cooler climate Chardonnay, lively, fresh, citrusy, ready to take on some quite strongly flavoured food, I think. If any of you are interested, we have got the 2012 vintage of this. But maybe that's something you want to do after the end of the tasting, which is now. Thank you for coming along and listening, and I hope you found it interesting. Please don't think that I'm suggesting that Chardonnay is really Pinot family. I mean, when I started in the wine trade, they used to say Pinot Chardonnay, but it isn't. But nevertheless, I think it had its place in this tasting. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers.